Greetings, my fellow observers of dark and nightmarish cinema, to Beyond Normal, the spookiest locale where only the coolest of ghouls hang out. I am your eternal dream warrior host, Be Normal, and today I wish to take you on a perfunctory look at one of my favorite film characters.
The always immortal, the mostly toasty, the dream dweller, the Springwood slasher, Frederick Charles Krueger.
His middle name is Charles. So the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise is 40 years old now. Well, almost 40. In November of this year it will be though, so preemptive happy birthday! Yay! And so that means that main man child killer antagonist Freddy Krueger has been haunting people's dreams for a long time. And I love the concept of Freddy Krueger, how fantastical and spooky he is, how he is an ever-present, ever-dangerous force of evil and determination in his world.
I am eternal.
I mean, it is kinda hacky that he just comes back from the dead like every time, but hey, maybe you just can't kill pure evil. But now to the crux of this video. Which nightmarish ordeal with Freddy Krueger is the best? Which movie makes you go? And which leaves you? And to determine that, we will be employing a modern and hip ranked tier system. I believe that this is the video style that all the kids are all on fleek about nowadays. Now, our rankings for our Freddy films will work as follows. All the way at the top we got our S rank, meaning, wow, that sure is spooky. Next, A for, that sure aroused my horror senses. Followed by B for barely better than something that could be bad. Just past the halfway point with C for creeping up on being crappy. Second to last, D for damn, I wish I could love you more. And lastly, E for exceptionally embarrassing in my eyes. But thankfully, no Fs. And just one last thing before this ranking actually starts. Opinions are opinions, art is subjective, business is business, and all those little caveats in between. As for ranking stuff, it can be fun, and in this case is only being done for the lols. Because the overall greater reality is that I actually suggest you check out all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies and decide which ones you like more for yourself. But for now, ghosts and ghouls, may I present Be Normal's official, but just for funsies, ranking of all Mr. Krueger's cinematic adventures. 1984's A Nightmare on Elm Street. Probably the easiest one to rank. Obviously, it gets a super spooky S. Nightmare 1 is ominous and foreboding with elements of helplessness, neglect, and surrealism. Freddy, aka Robert Englund, of course outshines all the bad teen acting.
Please, God.
This is God.
His posture is imposing, he cruelly taunts his victims, and truly feels like the personification of evil.
This is Guy. He's after us in our dreams.
The look they gave Freddy is grotesque and repulsive. It looks like he definitely has a certain rotting odor about him. So great job on that. Plus, Nightmare 1 has quite a variety of neato kills. Wait, should we make quick another... Give me a minute.
A few moments later.
Okay, as an impromptu side bit of discussion, may I also introduce the Cool Freddy Makeup and Cool Kills and or Effects badges, which Nightmare 1 gets both of as well. So first, fun fact, 1985's Nightmare 2 was actually the first Freddy Krueger movie I saw, and I loved it, but I was very confused by it. Now, I, like many other kids, grew up with playground whispers of Freddy Krueger, and when I finally got a chance to see my first Freddy movie to get some damn answers, all I was given was more questions. For those that don't know, Freddy's Revenge takes place in the same house as the first movie, but with a new family that moved in after all the shit that went down with Nancy in the first movie.
His name is Fred, and he keeps trying to take me to the boiler room. He wants to kill me.
So it's about a kid, Jesse, slowly getting possessed by Freddy Krueger in an attempt to return from the dead.
You've got the body. I've got the brain.
Plus, the whole possession plot is probably the coolest resurrection Freddy goes throughout this whole franchise.
I'm scared, Grady. Something is trying to get inside my body.
Freddy's Revenge is surreal, with great scenery and locations, but does lack in the kills department in some regards. But still, Freddy looks like a grotesque monster of darkness, a man-shaped malignant force, and that skin scene. Ugh. At the end of the day, Freddy's Revenge scores an and goes home with both additional badges.
You are all my children now.
1987's Nightmare 3, Dream Warriors. One of those perfect sequels with full creative force being used as Freddy Krueger, now going after any and all teens within his reach, stalks a frantic young group within a psychiatric hospital.
Well, according to our kind hosts, our dreams are a group psychosis, sort of a mellow mass hysteria. The fact that we all dreamt about this guy before we ever met doesn't seem to impress anybody.
And pause. Just that idea alone, Freddy Krueger creatively slaying these youths within a mental hospital, should already make your horror antenna go, "Oh, interesting, very interesting." So a bunch of kids, with the help of a grown-up Nancy, uses hypnotism and dream powers in order to give themselves a fighting chance against Freddy.
I am the Wizard Master!
And I don't think anyone would argue if I said Dream Warriors has some of the coolest scenes and kills throughout the whole franchise. This is also the movie where Freddy starts developing his oh-so-famous personality.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV. Welcome to prime time, bitch.
As well as us, the audience, learning some Freddy lore.
That girl was Amanda Krueger. Her child, Freddy. The bastard son of 100 maniacs.
Thusly and therefore, Dream Warriors gets an S ranking and both badges. 1988's Nightmare 4, The Dream Master. Our first official mixed bag. Because they are expanding on the Dream Warrior premise, the premise itself starts getting kinda goofy.
Why don't you, call I'm one of your little friends. Maybe they could help.
12 seconds later.
Alice, I'm so sorry. It was a mistake. I pulled you in.
But overall, the Freddy makeup still looks fine, but he is essentially just Freddy. You know, in Dream Warriors, we had Puppet Freddy, TV Freddy, and Worm Freddy. Here, the most unique Freddy is Invisible Freddy.
A true warrior needs no eyes.
And Invisible Freddy is just a sad concept. Some of the kills are, of course, still pretty damn neato, including a person getting sucked to death and a person getting turned into a cockroach.
You can check in, but you can't check out.
Plus, big bonus, Dream Master probably has the coolest Freddy death of them all. So Dream Master squeaks out with a B and 1 badge for effects.
Rest in hell.
1989's Nightmare 5, The Dream Child. The first Nightmare movie I kinda avoid watching.
What's that?
My undying love, have some.
Now, it's no secret that sequels often slide down in quality as they go along. And Dream Child is not immune to that. The premise itself is unique enough, though. What if Freddy was haunting the dreams of a fetus?
See any family resemblance?
See, now that's a cool idea. I just find the execution lacking, and the repeated use of the characters from previous movies gets kinda old fast. And it has like 3 kills. 1 that is great, 1 that is pretty good, and 1 that is silly.
Told ya! Comic books was bad for ya!
But they did try something unique with the whole Freddy baby thing. So Dream Child lands in at an almost crappy C with half a badge for the motorcycle guy.
This boy feels the need for speed.
1991's Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare has just one good idea, which is also unfortunately poorly executed. And that is just the unfortunate truth.
Ethel! I want my children back! You know they bring him!
There is this sub-ish plot thing in the movie about Springwood having 0 teens and kids left because of Freddy. And all the adults kinda go insane because of it.
Welcome to Freddy 101. 1493, Freddy sailed across the sea.
Now again, that is a really cool idea, which pretty much nothing is done with. Instead, we get some kid with memory loss, a group of troubled teens and their guardian who has a seriously stupid backstory, fishy dream demons, the laziest Freddy makeup so far, and only 1 good kill.
Nice hearing from you, Carlos.
I'm sorry, folks. This movie just gets the E. As a plus, I did really like the whole opening of the movie. John Doe going from plane to waking up to falling house to getting hit by a bus was genuinely actually pretty good. 1994's Wes Craven's New Nightmare. So 6 times out of 7, it seems Freddy Krueger has a cool concept to hold him up. And technically, this is a great concept. According to New Nightmare, all the other movies are in fact just that, movies.
So Heather, we're approaching the 10th anniversary of this whole Nightmare on Elm Street thing. I mean, the original 5 very popular sequels. How has all this success affected you personally?
And we see how Heather Langenkamp, Nancy's meat space actress, goes about life as she, Wes Craven, Bob Shea, Robert Englund, and her child Dylan go about life all while a new Freddy Krueger movie is in the works.
But let me cut to the chase. How would you like to join us in the definitive nightmare?
But lo and behold, turns out Freddy Krueger was real all along, like some sort of demon that was contained through the power of storytelling.
Every so often they imagine a story good enough to sort of catch its essence, and then for a while it's held prisoner in the story.
Like the genie in the bottle.
Exactly.
So yes, I love the concept and the meta-narrative storytelling, but I am ranking this a D for, damn, I wish I could love you more. And this is mostly because I kind of feel Freddy Krueger might be holding this movie back. And I get it, I understand what they're saying. I mentally digested the commentary on what Freddy Krueger as a pop culture icon has become. I understand the topic of exposing children to horror. I love the homages to the first movie. But this movie would be so much more powerful and impactful if they created a whole new monster or villain. One that we would just understand as being a surrogate or a stand-in for another icon, instead of using Freddy. And that's not because I think Freddy is a sacred brand icon or anything like that.
Nightmare 1, 120,000 units. Nightmare 2, 180,000 units. Together, these two hits spent over 50 weeks on Billboard's rental charts.
It's mostly that this being about Heather and Freddy and Wes requires a certain level of investment or caring and knowledge. Knowledge and caring that not a lot of people have. So good for fans, but bad for newcomers. Plus, effects are mid at best, and Freddy looks just as rubbery as he did in Part 6, so no badges either. 2003's Freddy vs. Jason. Okay, so let's turn this downer of a trend around. Double badge S ranking.
What's wrong, Rory? Miss your wake-up call.
Freddy vs. Jason is amazing and creative. It's gory, it's killtastic, and of course, Freddy looks really good again. And he even has his old possession trick.
Let me handle this, bitch.
Albeit via a bad CG caterpillar. Plus, he fights Jason.
Asshole! Up here!
So I don't see how anyone could disagree. And finally, we have come to 2010's A Nightmare on Elm Street reboot. And to people who saw my Some Remakes Are Great video, you might already know that I think that the reboot is just fine. It doesn't really compare though, and it feels very much like a 2010 movie.
I didn't want you to remember, I wanted you to forget!
Remember what?
With jostles and frights and creepiness and jump scares and all of that. But it is worth bringing up that this was the first time Freddy isn't portrayed by Robert Englund. Well, technically, but I really don't want to get into that right now. So Freddy is instead played by Jackie Earle Haley, who has a different makeup design for Freddy, which is meant to be more realistic and more scary. And you know, the kills are fine-ish, but they do lean towards the uninspired. But when you want to go for grim realness, that's just what's going to end up happening. So a B for barely better than something that could be bad. And, you know, half a badge for Freddy's look. But it does feel kinda weird having this even be ranked among the others, just because it feels so of its time, you know, so different. So I'm putting it on its own generic list, and then no one can be mad at me that I placed it above Dream Child, Freddy's Dead, and New Nightmare. And there you have it, my 2 cents regarding a silly franchise that I grew up to love despite its flaws and weird dips in quality. I still actually do suggest that anyone interested should check out, you know, all the movies in the franchise and decide which ones they like more themselves. But now you tell me, was I too harsh with Wes Craven's New Nightmare? And do you also think that Freddy vs. Jason is a cinematic masterpiece? But that is all from me. May strange men with knifey hands and Christmassy sweaters gently tickle your tonsils while you sleep. And remember, I will spook to you again soon.